are these people?
The last story, you know, we haven't checked in with our friend Kevin Gosztola in a while. Kevin has been focused a lot on press freedom and on journalists being arrested in the United States. And of course, he's one of the preeminent, prominent Assange journalists. And he had been covering a story that we've been covering on this show for a while about people who visited Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy that were suing the CIA for violating their privacy rights. Now, he writes this for the Dissenter, thedissenter.org. Give them a follow. Kevin is an Indie Media Award honoree. The Dissenter is an extension of Shadowproof, which also as a publication was an honoree. So what he writes here is burying the CIA's secrets, Assange secrets. CIA won the dismissal of a lawsuit brought by 4 Americans who claim that they had their privacy rights violated when they visited Assange in the London, Ecuadorian embassy. This is some shit right here. Right? And he says, the following article was made possible by paid subs of the Dissenter. Become a paid sub and support independent journalism on government secrecy, press freedom, and whistleblowing. Kevin's one of the best out there. Big fan. I am a paid supporter in all disclosure. You see that little dot there.
Mm-hmm.
A United States judge dismissed a lawsuit pursued by, let me make this a little bigger, 4 American attorneys and journalists who allege that the CIA and former director Mike Pompeo spied on them while they were visiting the WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange in Ecuador's London embassy. The subject matter of this litigation, Judge Kettle determined, quote, is subject to the state secrets privilege in its entirety, unquote. Any answer to the allegations against the CIA, quote, would reveal privileged information, unquote. Few publications followed. Julian, nice.
Right now, WikiLeaks.
Leahy.
Julian Assange's.
That's Leahy.
The LickyLeaks.
LickyLeaks. That's right. Shout out to Trailer. Shout out to Trailer Park Boys.
LickyLeaks.
Few publications. And few publications follow this case as closely as the Dissenter. And thanks to him, few shows have followed this case as closely as How Did We Miss That? It unfolded at the same time that the U.S. government pursued the extradition of Assange, making any outcome potentially significant.
We are the United States government. We don't
do that here. We do not do that sort of thing. R.I.P. James Earl Jones.
Fucking dummy.
Yeah.
On August 15, 2022, Margaret Ratner Kunstler, all right, a civil rights activist. No, not Nomiki. Kunstler, a civil rights activist and human rights attorney, and Deborah Herbeck, a media lawyer, filed their complaint. Journalist Charles Glass and former Der Spiegel reporter John Getz also joined them as plaintiffs. The lawsuit claimed that the plaintiffs, like all visitors, were required to surrender their electronic devices to employees of Undercover Global, a Spanish security company managed by David Morales that was hired by Ecuador to handle embassy security. They were unaware that UC Global had allegedly copied the information stored on the devices and shared the information with CIA. Pompeo allegedly approved the copying of visitors' passports, including pages with stamps and visas. He ensured that all computers, laptops, mobile phones, recording devices, and other electronics brought into the embassy were seized, dismantled, imaged, photographed, and digitized. This included the collection of IMEI and SIM codes from visitors' phones, which means they also got their contact lists.
Yeah, well, that should be easy. But I mean, not that I would know anything, but a little Flipper Zero would be able to handle that. But yes.
Morales and UC Global were named as defendants in the lawsuit. However, due to the fact that they weren't in the U.S., the claims against them were never really litigated. They did have to testify in a Spanish court, though.
Mm-hmm.
In December 2023, Kettle dismissed multiple claims that were filed against CIA, but remarkably, he found that the 4 Americans who had visited Assange had grounds to sue the CIA for violating their reasonable expectation of privacy under the Fourth Amendment. which makes sense. You are an American citizen entering sovereign territory in an embassy of another country. You should have the reasonable expectation that your privacy would be protected and not scraped by the CIA.
Did you ever work for the CIA?
Soon after, the court was notified that CIA would assert the state secrets privilege to block the lawsuit. What a surprise. Bill Burns, Russiagator, notorious, who was CIA director, submitted a declaration in April of last year that asserted a serious and exceptionally grave damage to the national security of the U.S. would occur if the case proceeded. It actually would just embarrass the people involved, which is why they really don't want to.
It's a mystery! It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma!
The government adequately supported its invocation of the state secrets privilege in its public and sealed declarations, according to the judge. Kettle later stated, quote, "The government persuasively argues that requiring the CIA to acknowledge whether or not it took certain intelligence gathering activities in a foreign embassy could have serious national security repercussions for the U.S.
Could.
Even though Assange no longer lives at the embassy and UC Global no longer provides security there. Yes, we violated their sovereign rights, Ecuador's. And what are we going to do to make them whole about that? However, as with numerous cases where the state secrets privilege is invoked to deny plaintiffs their day in court, the invocation effectively confirms that intelligence gathering activities were undertaken against Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy. We already saw the footage of that. After all, it's not like stating CIA didn't engage in such activities would result in serious national security repercussions. In September 2021, as a reminder, Yahoo News published an investigation based on conversations with more than 30 former U.S. officials, 8 of whom described details of the CIA's proposals to abduct Assange. Pompeo allegedly championed proposals to abduct him after WikiLeaks published Vault 7 materials in 2017 that embarrassed the hell out of CIA. Pompeo favored a rendition operation that would involve breaking into the Ecuadorian embassy and dragging him out and bringing him to the U.S. via a third country, that third country being the United Kingdom. Quote, a less extreme version of the proposal involved U.S. operatives snatching him from the embassy and turning him over to British authorities. He ended up in Belmarsh, so that's kind of what happened. Well, actually, what happened was there was a regime change. We regime changed Ecuador. The new president traded Julian Assange's freedom for an IMF loan, and the British police went in and took him out at the U.S.'s request. Kettle referred to the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in a state secrets privilege case on March 3rd, 2022. It involved the CIA and stemmed from an attempt by Abu Zubaydah, a high-profile Guantanamo Bay prisoner, to subpoena 2 CIA contractors named James Mitchell and Bruce Jessen. Both were architects of the agency's torture program who interrogated him at a black site in Poland. CIA invoked the state secrets privilege to block Zubaydah from seeking testimony that could be used in a Polish criminal investigation. The Supreme Court overturned an appeals court decision that asserted the privilege did not cover all the information requested. They're just protecting every bad fucking thing we've done. You cannot ever let it out, ever, till everybody's dead, buried, long gone. As the dissenter has emphasized, the 1953 case known as U.S. v. Reynolds that established the state secrets privilege is rooted in fraud. After a military plane crash, the government refused to tell the victims' families how their loved ones had died because officials claimed that would reveal secrets. But decades later, families filed a lawsuit after reading declassified U.S. Air Force documents. The lawsuit concealed its fraud for decades, holding the accident reports and witness statements as classified materials until the 90s, even though they contained no secrets and had no conceivable further utility. That's what the family said. Indeed, that was the Air Force's purpose in classifying them, to bury them so deep and so long that no one would find them, unquote. Burying secrets so deep and for so long that the public doesn't find them is typically the CIA's objective when they invoke the state secrets privilege. They have buried a 6,300-page Senate intelligence report on CIA rendition, detention, and torture during the global war on terror. They're now burying their Assange secrets. Of course they are. The decision all but ensures that the CIA will be able to conceal what they allegedly did to Assange, WikiLeaks, and his supporters for several decades. The agency, with support from justice, has already frustrated a Spanish court trying to prosecute Morales and other UC Global employees for alleged criminal acts. It was always unlikely that Assange's defense would uncover details about the CIA's alleged actions and share those revelations during an Espionage Act trial. The restrictions the government and courts imposed on defendants come with procedures to shield the CIA from scrutiny, because God forbid anybody would ever hold them accountable.
No.
When prosecution against Assange ended in a plea deal in last June, that benefited the CIA, even if it wasn't the outcome that current and former high-ranking officials had desired. CIA would never have to worry about the agency's actions being discussed by the press and on social media during a high-profile trial. That was never going to happen.
Yep.
Of course, there's also the matter of CIA allegedly violating the privacy rights of Assange visitors, while the U.S. government targeted a journalist living under political asylum in a foreign embassy. The U.S.
No one is above the law.
Except for her and all CIA. And Trump and Elon Musk and all the Republicans. The U.S. news media never showed much interest in the CIA's actions, however. Let's not forget there was widespread global opposition to the Assange prosecution, and that's what helped end the case. The agency is right to be concerned that if more was known about what happened, it might erupt into an international scandal. I wish it did. Fucking terrible.
Yep.
Not many people talking about Julian Assange and about this trial and about the censorship that's going on with it, and the fact that the lawsuit was dismissed. Fuck the CIA. And I hope our handler is listening. Fuck your bosses. Your boss's name is John Ratfuck for the next 4 years. Okay?
Sorries.
Oh, don't be sorry. I think that was wonderful. I would like to make an appeal to everyone. If you are able and are of means, please support the media you want to see. These people already have. Thank you so much to everybody who has supported and tipped us and hooked us up. This week, I remember clearly Charlie Mack on Friday night, as well as Sean, definitely hooked us up. We got some PayPals on. Ooh, I get an echo on Wednesday night from INA News. So thank you to everyone. Natalie Brunel, I know she gave, I believe she gave $20 over on Cash App. So cash.app/$Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and innewsletter.com are the ways to support it that are the least way to have fees go and the most money to actually put into our pockets. YouTube doesn't like it when we do that. Please, if you can, support the channel, tip us, hook us up with a couple of bucks. Reef needs some weed money. I just got a mic stand. It's so crazy. I've been doing this so long, and my mic has always sat on my desk. And finally, I broke down and I said, "All right, I'm gonna get one of those like kind of arms that clamps to the side of the desk and free up the space." I wouldn't say that, but it's not a terribly expensive product, and it's really funny that the
money is there.
It is, and that's what's funny, because that's why you guys hook us up with that so that we can do things like that, and thank you for that. Because yes, we need to purchase equipment and to cover our costs for the year. That's what we're trying to do, is cover our costs of streaming and of producing all the thumbnails and all the creative graphics. If you are able to at a means, please tip your streamers, hook up INN, help us cover our expenses for the year, and do some really cool stuff. We want to send Jett to Third Eye Carnival in April. We're going to see if we can make that happen, or they may schedule another Third Eye Carnival later on in the year closer to him, an event that he can more easily attend. Third Eye Carnival is a weekend camping trip hangout where there are podcasters, musicians, comedians all come together to discuss what's really happening out there, and then solutions on how do we move forward together to opt out of the system and do some cool stuff, outside of the Zionist control. So we get censored for stuff like this. We got demonetized for stuff like this. So please, if you are able to, hook us up somewhere else other than on YouTube. The ways to do that are Cash App, Ko-fi, PayPal, and at innnewsletter.com. You can do so with a one-time, monthly, or even an annual support over at INN Newsletter. Everybody on that board already has, and we love them deeply for it. Thank you so much, really, for all of the support that we get. We cannot do this without you. We are solely user-funded. We do not have promo codes. We do not do ad reads. We do not do sponsorships. We are here because we feel like that is potentially compromising. If you are, hesitant to criticize somebody that an advertiser might like, or criticize an advertiser directly, or criticize, there's just a lot of potential conflicts of interest that can be brought up by doing the sponsorship thing, which is why we feel like, to have the ultimate integrity, you need to be doing this solely user-funded. Otherwise, you're going to, at some point, have somebody turn to you and tell you they don't like the way that you're covering something and insist that you not cover something or whatever it is. And we've seen that repeatedly. We've seen people have blind spots because there are people that they like that have big gaps and big inconsistencies and big conflicts of interest, and just kind of look the other way and not discuss it, let other people discuss it, and not necessarily defend it, but also not go hard on things that we know that they would ordinarily go hard on. And I don't want to see that happen here. So that's why we need you to help keep us honest so that we can help keep everybody else honest. Because we say fuck the CIA, we get demonetized on YouTube. And these amazing people have already helped out our channel. They have tipped their streamers and supported the media they want to see. And we love them and appreciate them for it. That's why they're on our wall of fame. You can join them by supporting at Cash App, $Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and at innnewsletter.com, where you can subscribe monthly or on an annual basis.
Support independent media, like he said.
Yeah, how about that? We need more than ever.
You said that already, right?
Labels are bad. Stay independent.
No one knows what they're doing. Everything is getting worse. Some people deserve to die. Your money is worthless. No one is properly dressed. At least one of your children will disappoint you. The system is rigged. Your house will never be completely clean. All teachers are incompetent. There are people who really dislike you. Nothing is as good as it seems. Things don't last. No one is paying attention. The country is dying. God doesn't care. Shh.
Support independent media, everyone. We just fucking lost the stream.
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.